Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I am back with another LinkedIn video. I know this took forever to put together, but you know, holidays, whatever. So I am here just to answer your questions about LinkedIn. Somehow I've been given this like LinkedIn guru moniker status from my friends because I'm the only one that likes this platform and cares about it and is on it consistently. So I get a lot of questions about LinkedIn, and so I decided to open up kind of my inbox and answer some of the questions that I get privately, and then answer some of the questions that you guys had about the best way to use LinkedIn and things like that. So I am gonna get right into it. The first question I got is from a really good friend of mine who is in the marketing industry, who recently gave up social media, which I think is very interesting. Side note, I never get why people do that. I guess if you're not using it properly, if you're using it negatively, it can really impact your life negatively. So I guess I kind of get it. But she gave up social media except for LinkedIn. So she wants to know what LinkedIn is good for if you're not job hunting, which I think is a valid question. A lot of people see this platform as exclusively a place to find a job. It's often called an online resume, and it's a great thing, and it's kind of a negative thing too. So there are three main things that I use LinkedIn for when I'm not job hunting, and the first thing is networking. My grandfather had a quote, a little quip he would say all the time before he passed was, "Prepare for war in the time of peace." And I think it's really important to network your face off, to make yourself known and available, and your interests and your specialties known to certain people, because you don't know when you will need them in the future, and vice versa. They might need you as well. So it's really important to just network, to get yourself out there, to meet people in your community and your industry, or industries that you're interested in. LinkedIn is also great for education. So especially in the marketing realm, there's constantly articles and info being passed around, especially with social media that's just changing so rapidly all the time. LinkedIn is one of the social media platforms where you will get an education on the industry that you want to be educated on. If you think about it, everyone on this platform is on there for a specific niche reason. It's a professional platform, so the information that's being shared on here is unlike Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and Tumblr. This is kind of industry-specific workplace talk. So you are going to get a little bit of an education factor on LinkedIn as well, which I think is superior to the other social platforms. And then the third reason is job hunting. So not necessarily going out there and looking for a job 24/7, but kind of networking and meeting with recruiters or people and really telling the story of your career and who you are and where you want to go. Again, just preparing for war in the time of peace, and networking your face off and making yourself available so that when that dream job does come along, your LinkedIn already says that you're perfectly available for it. So again, network, educate, and job hunt too. The second question I got was from another friend of mine who is just trying to hone her LinkedIn strategy in 2018. So 2018, new year, new you, what should your LinkedIn strategy be? Honestly, I just want you to refine your story. So decide what the story you want to tell on your LinkedIn profile is. Are you a storyteller? Are you a marketer? Are you a finance professional? What is the story of your career? And decide how you're going to tell it. Are you going to tell it 3 times a week through posts that you write and articles that you share? Are you going to tell your story through videos? Are you going to tell your story through joining groups and networking in that arena? How are you going to tell the story of who you want to be? Decide that, and I think your LinkedIn strategy will kind of shape and mold itself, if that makes sense. The next question I got was, how do I approach people on LinkedIn? So this is a great question. We talked about how LinkedIn is really great for networking, but how do you actually do it? There's a ton of different ways. I have a lot of people that reach out to me through InMail, through the messenger, whatever area on LinkedIn, which is great, and I'm open to that, and I love that. You will find that there are people that don't respond to that and don't like that. And if you have people that don't use LinkedIn every single day like I do, the statistics say that only 40% of LinkedIn's users use it every day. So chances are people aren't really looking at that. So you're better off looking for an email address on their profile, looking to see if they have a call out to maybe their social profiles or something like that, and reaching out to them that way. But just make sure you reach out to them with an intent. So I have a lot of people that will reach out to me and say, hey, what's up? I saw you speak at this. I just wanted to connect. And that doesn't really leave me anything to say, right? All I have to say is like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. Well, it was great connecting. Then it's up to me to kind of keep the conversation going. But the most meaningful connections that I have on LinkedIn are the people that reach out to me and are like, hey, I saw you do social media marketing. I am an entrepreneur and I'm struggling in this field. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? Or can we meet and get coffee and talk about this? I saw you're in this group. I met somebody who's in that group. Can you tell me more about it? Or the messages I get that are like, why did you get into social media marketing? Do you do anything else outside of that? What can you teach me about da 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 da? So I would go into your approach with an intent. Do I want to get to know this person better? Do they have something to offer me that I need? A lot of us are just afraid to ask for help or have qualms about getting what we want, and I just don't have those. So if I want something from you, I'm going to be frank about it, and I think you'll be surprised that a lot of the people on LinkedIn are receptive and open to that. So make your intentions clear, make them known, be kind, be professional. And I would look for alternative ways to contact people other than just through their LinkedIn Messenger, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. The next question was, how do I turn a LinkedIn connection into a real life meaningful connection? That's a great question. I am a big believer that the only thing that matters in this life are relationships. And a lot of my relationships are digital. They're not IRL relationships, which is sad. But that does not mean that they're any less meaningful. I do wish I had the opportunity to turn a lot of them into meaningful, real life, face-to-face, tangible relationships. So there's a few ways you can do this, and this is kind of echoing the last point we talked about, right? Make that in-person connection. Ask them to go get coffee. Ask them to go to a happy hour. And if that one-on-one connection is like too intense for you or like too nerve-wracking for you, which it is for a lot of people I meet, ask them to join you at a mixer or a young professional happy hour or a group, whatever, where you're not going to be the only two people there, where you'll have a great chance to run into each other. And there's a lot of those, especially in my neck of the woods in Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of industry specific or gender specific or race specific meeting points and gatherings and places for you to meet people in real life in a less intimidating setting. So I would try that. The other way I would try is to really just bolster your digital relationships. So really invest time nurturing and getting to know this person digitally, finding your common interests. And I think you'll find that both of you on both ends want it to be something that's in real life. So the girl that asked this question is a friend of mine. We actually recently just got coffee the other morning, and it was great. We sat and we talked about work stuff, but we talked about a lot of just personal fun stuff too. And you know, I've run into her at other mixers and things like that, and she's just a good friend and a good connection. And it was really as simple as like, hey, do you want to get coffee sometime? And also make yourself available, right? So I put out a post on LinkedIn a couple months ago, and I was just like, hey, if anyone wants to get coffee, send me a message and let's get coffee. And I got a lot of messages, and only a handful of them actually like ended up happening, but make yourself available to that stuff. And then the final question is, what are some etiquette rules of LinkedIn? I have written countless LinkedIn blog post things about the etiquette of LinkedIn, so I will kind of high level go over that now. One is keep it professional. This is a professional platform. I don't really care about your political affiliation unless it makes sense or is relevant for your position, right? I don't really care about the recreational things you do in your personal time unless it's relevant or makes sense to your industry or the story you're trying to tell. So here's a good example of this. I just posted my personal LinkedIn. I had a sponsored post with Neutrogena that I was super excited about. That was kind of a personal thing, right? But I am a digital marketer. I'm a social media marketer. Becoming an influencer ties me to my my work on a day-to-day basis, right? Because I'm working with influencers and people that I want to market for the brand that I, represent. So being one on the back end is a direct correlation to what I do in my job in the day-to-day. So that makes sense. But if I was just posting my Instagram posts on Instagram or on LinkedIn for the heck of it, that would kind of break etiquette, I would think. That wouldn't really make sense. So when in doubt, just ask yourself, does this make sense for the story that you're telling on LinkedIn? Does this make sense for the brand that you are presenting? And if it does, then go for it, comment on it, post it. If it doesn't, or you're not sure, then just don't. All right, hopefully that answered your questions. If you have any more, please leave them. I love talking about LinkedIn. It's my favorite platform in the world. And that's all I got. I will see you guys in the new year. Happy 2018.